Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to historic Fort Sam Houston MacArthur Parade Field and to the United States Army Medical Command's Relinquishment of Command Ceremony. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is the 35th Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army, General Daniel B. Allen. Today, we witness the relinquishment of command and pay special tribute to the outgoing Commanding General, Lieutenant General Patricia D. Horoho. We are joined today by many distinguished guests, visitors, and friends. Among them are General Daniel and Mrs. Allen, Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Army. Command Sergeant Major Daniel and Mrs. Daly, Sergeant Major of the United States Army. Dr. Jonathan Woodson, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs. Lieutenant General Perry and Mrs. Wiggins, Commanding General, Army North. Mr. Trey Clayberg, Civilian Assistant Secretary of the Army. Lieutenant General Retired Quinn Becker, the 36th and former Surgeon General of the United States Army Medical Command. Lieutenant General Retired Frank Ledford, the 37th and former Surgeon General of the United States Army Medical Command. Command Sergeant Major and Mrs. Gerald Ecker, Command Sergeant Major, United States Army Medical Command. Mrs. Maria Rocco, wife of Medal of Honor recipient, Chief Warrant Officer II, Louis Rocco. 35 international partners and their representatives from multiple countries. And a host of general officers, senior executive service members, command sergeants major, non-commissioned officers, soldiers, DoD civilians, family members, and friends. Please stand for the invocation given by the Medical Command's chaplain, Chaplain Peter Brzezinski.
Let us pray. Lord, as we say goodbye to Lieutenant General Horoho and her family, we thank you for her 30-plus years of service during which she has cared for thousands of America's sons and daughters in times of war and peace. She has led us as the Surgeon General and MedCom Commander through the largest transformation ever, with strong leadership that exuded grace, kindness, and humility. Thank you for her partners in work and family who have sacrificed so much to the Army and MedCom so that General Horoho could wisely guide all of us. Let her service indeed find yet another venue in this time called retirement. We ask your blessing likewise upon Major General Jones as he continues to lead us forward. We pray all this in your mighty name. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the reviewing stand as Sergeant First Class Christopher Ladick, the AMED Center and School Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year, and Sergeant Samantha Allard, the AMED Center and School Soldier of the Year, present gifts to Lieutenant General Horoho's family. Her mother, Mrs. Jo Dallas, and daughter, Maggie Horoho, are being presented with the Army Medical Department Ann Hand brooch. Her son, John Horoho, is being presented with an M14 bolt-action replica pen, and her husband, Mr. Ray Horoho, is being presented with an autographed New England Patriots jersey. Lieutenant General Horoho is presenting 3-star coins to her sister, Mrs. Nancy Boatner, brother, Lieutenant Colonel Retired Ed Dallas, sister-in-law, Mrs. Mary Jo Dallas, niece, Mrs. Kate Sartain, her husband, Mr. Travis Sartain, and nephew, Mr. Matt Dallas. The formation of troops on the field represents the soldiers assigned to the United States Army Medical Command and the 323rd Army Band. The units participating in today's ceremony are, from left to right, the 323rd Army Band, Fort Sam's Own, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, United States Army Medical Command, Regional Health Command Atlantic, Provisional, Regional Health Command Central, Provisional, Regional Health Command Europe, Provisional, the MedCom Color Guard. Soldiers representing the Color Guard for today's ceremony are from the Army Medical Department Center and School, Regional Health Command Pacific, Provisional, U.S. Army Medical Research and Materiel Command, the U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School, U.S. Army Health Readiness Center of Excellence, Western Regional Medical Command, and Warrior Transition Command. Today's honor battery is from Headquarters Battalion, U.S. Army North, commanded by Captain Bradley Glosser and First Sergeant Norman Paquin. The commander of troops is Colonel Clinton W. Schreckheis, Deputy Chief of Staff, United States Army Medical Command. The U.S. Army Medical Command Command Sergeant Major is Command Sergeant Major Gerald C. Ecker. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation, where the adjutant will begin the ceremony with the command of sound attention. The history of the review can be traced to the Middle Ages, when rulers, as a way of showing their strength, were likely to have military ceremonies. In the American Army, reviews were originally outlined in Baron Friedrich von Steuben's Blue Book and practiced by revolutionary soldiers. A review consisted of 4 stages: a formation of troops, presentation and honors, inspection, and a march in review. Today's reviews have incorporated 3 additional stages: honors to the nation, remarks, and a conclusion. The presence of the colors at the center of the formation represents their presence at the forefront of the unit during the heat of battle. The presence of the band represents the significant role that the drum, fife, and other musical instruments have played throughout military history for signaling in camp or on the battlefield. The march of the band across the front of the line is said to have originated with the Crusaders. The troops offering themselves for service were drawn up in a long formation, and the band countermarched only before those chosen to serve. The 3 chords played before and after the march are symbolic of the 3 cheers from the crowds that gathered to farewell the departing warriors. Today, the 323rd Army Band, Fort Sam's Own, troops the line of the Medical Command units. At this time, the Commander of Troops, Colonel Clinton W. Schreckheis, and the U.S. Army Medical Command primary staff are taking their positions. Marching as the MEDCOM staff today are the MEDCOM G1, Colonel Linda R. Carmen, the MEDCOM G3, Colonel Heather A. Kness, the MEDCOM G4, Colonel Tony R. Nesbitt, and the MEDCOM G6, Colonel Beverly A. Beavers. The bugler for today's ceremony is Sergeant First Class Luke Jefferson. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the rendering of honors. General Allen has deferred honors to Lieutenant General Horoho. Please be seated. Specialist Alvin Molina from the Salute Battery is presenting Lieutenant General Horoho the shell of the last round of salute for her years of dedicated and outstanding service to the Army and to the Army Medical Department Regiment. The Army inspection procedures date from the arrival of Prussian Army officer Baron von Steuben at Valley Forge in February of 1778. His strict discipline and innate self-confidence instilled a new self-respect in General George Washington's beleaguered troops. Lieutenant General Patricia D. Horoho will now inspect her command for the last time, looking at each soldier personally to ensure their fitness and combat readiness prior to relinquishing her command. In August 1993, the U.S. Army Chief of Staff approved a plan to reorganize the AMED. The heart of the plan was to merge several medical elements into a new expanded Medical Major Command under the Surgeon General to be more responsive to the Army. In October 1993, the U.S. Army Medical Command Provisional began a one-year process of replacing Health Services Command and absorbing other Army Medical Department elements. Hospitals and clinics, dental care, veterinary care, medical research and logistics, and medical training all came together bit by bit in a new command under the same soldier who was the Surgeon General, unifying the leadership and management of Army medicine more than ever before. The MedCom became fully operational in October 1994. A bottom-up review in 2011 resulted in major reorganization of the headquarters structure and reorganization of the staff to better align with the Army staff structure and transition from an organization focused on healthcare to a system for health. The command is transitioning from 5 regional medical commands to 4 multidisciplinary regional health commands, integrating medical, public health, dental, and warrior care under a single point of accountability, from the strategic to the installation level in support of Army health readiness. This reorganization enhances MedCom's support of CONUS Corps and OCONUS Army Service Component Commands, while establishing an efficient and integrated mission command architecture to decrease variance across Army medicine and the medical command. Who is today's MedCom? We are a change organization of more than 75,000 active duty, civilian, and contract personnel serving across 5 continents, providing health care and readiness support across the globe. We are medical, dental, research, education and training, public health, and so much more. Army Medicine manages 148 graduate medical education programs, including the top-ranked nurse anesthetist and physical therapy graduate programs. Our nurse anesthetist graduate program is ranked #1, and the physical therapy graduate program is ranked #5 in the nation by U.S. News and World Report. The Army Baylor Master of Healthcare Administration program is ranked #7 in the nation, and our Physician Assistant program is ranked #11 in the nation. The first-time board pass rate for Army physicians at 95% tops the national average of 86%, and dental specialty board pass rates average greater than 90%. The Army Medical Department Center and School Health Readiness Center of Excellence is the world's largest medical training facility, graduating over 35,000 service members per year, with an average emergency medical technician certification pass rate of 95% for Army combat medics. The national average is 70%. We take care of nearly 4 million beneficiaries worldwide, with more than 11 million outpatient visits per year. The MedCom oversees $1.4 billion in research and development and promotes health and science diplomacy around the world. In an average day, there are 56,503 laboratory procedures, 12,064 radiology procedures, 9,388 immunizations, 1,083 beds occupied, 72,000 outpatient visits, 161 telehealth visits, 41,670 outpatient pharmacy prescriptions filled, 24,915 dental procedures, 2,259 veterinary outpatient visits, $23.3 million worth of food inspected, and 401 food safety visits. Over the last 4 years, MedCom has embarked on transformational changes that not only enhance the readiness of our total force, but have also been influential in changing the discourse about health and readiness, both inside the Army and around the nation. In 2012, MedCom began to pivot from a reactive healthcare system to a proactive system for health. The system for health focuses on maintaining, restoring, and improving the health of our beneficiaries instead of focusing on treating illnesses, diseases, and injuries after they occur. The first initiative within the System for Health transformation was aimed at helping our soldiers, family members, retirees, and DA civilians to make better choices in the life space. Providers see patients an average of only 100 of the 525,600 minutes in a year. Knowing this, MedCom sought to educate our beneficiaries and inculcate healthier sleep, activity, and nutrition choices made in their life space. Today, MedCom is working with ForceCom, TRADOC, and others to implement this performance triad in support of soldier and family readiness. Army Medical Command initiated the Behavioral Health Service Line to implement a standardized system of care to identify, prevent, treat, and track behavioral health issues affecting soldiers and family members. with 54 concussion clinical care sites across Army installations that range in their capabilities to care for various traumatic brain injury severities, Army Medicine has implemented an aggressive research program to advance mild traumatic brain injury diagnosis and treatment. In fiscal year 2015, the Army Medical Research and Materiel Command allocated approximately $96 million for TBI and brain health. The Army's collaboration with the National Football League and the National Collegiate Athletic Association is changing the culture regarding brain injuries on the battlefield and at home by increasing awareness and reducing the stigma associated with seeking care. Army Telehealth now provides services across 18 time zones and 30 countries and territories, the largest geographic area of any telehealth system in the world, accounting for over 95% of all clinical telehealth encounters in the Department of Defense. The officers, non-commissioned officers, and soldiers in formation before you represent the incredible and proud soldiers and civilians of the U.S. Army Medical Command that ensure the readiness of our Army and our nation. Experiencia et progressus. Experience and progress links our past to the future. We are an Army Medical Department grounded in centuries of medical experience passed down to successive generations, providing world-class medical care and constantly moving forward to improve the quality of care offered in service to our nation. As the regimental system developed, units were assigned a specific color or number for their regimental colors. This was done to aid in the identification of units and their positions on the battlefield. Their position at the front and center of the formation provided a point for the unit to dress on during parades and rally to during battle. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the national anthem, performed today by First Lieutenant Isis Rosario.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We will now observe the relinquishment of command. The relinquishment of command is an event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. The focus of the ceremony is the passing of the unit's colors. The colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority and represent her responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there also are the colors. Today, the United States Army Medical Command Command Sergeant Major Gerald C. Ecker, the custodian of the colors, will pass the colors to the outgoing commander, Lieutenant General Patricia D. Horoho, for the last time. The outgoing commander then relinquishes her command by passing the colors to General Daniel B. Allen, the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army. General Allen then passes the colors, and hence the command, to the incoming commander, Major General Steve Jones. This time-honored process is complete when the incoming commander passes the colors back to the Command Sergeant Major, charging him with maintaining the symbol of the command. By authority of paragraph 2-8B, Army Regulation 600-20, the undersigned assumes command of the United States Army Medical Command, effective 3 December 2015. Signed, Stephen L. Jones, Major General, U.S. Army, commanding.
Pace. About pace. Forward, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, General Daniel B. Allen.
Well, good morning or good afternoon, Dr. Woodson, Mrs. Maria Rocco, distinguished guests, and more importantly, soldiers and civilians that make the Surgeon General Office and the United States Army Medical Command all that it is for our great Army. Thank you for inviting me to Joint Base San Antonio in the beautiful state of Texas. And while I'm not a native Texan, I did spend a couple of years just up the road at Fort Hood with America's First Team. So any day I get to return to the great people in this great state of Texas is truly an awesome day. And of course, any day I get to spend with soldiers and Army civilians is awesome and morale sustaining, particularly when it's away from Washington, D.C. So thanks for allowing me to accomplish all of those great experiences in the same moment. And to General Patty Horoho, thanks for inviting me to share this awesome day with you and with the Army Medical Command team today. I want to provide a special welcome to your husband, Ray, and your children, Maggie and John. Debbie and I know what it's like to have two kids in college at once, so you have both our prayers for sustained strength and income. We have an amazing Army family with us today, and it extends beyond just Patty, Ray, and their kids. Like so many other leaders in our Army today, Patty Horoho comes from a great lineage of service to our nation. Over 3 generations, the Horoho and Dallas families have given a combined 168 years of collective service to our nation, spanning from World War II and Korea to Iraq and Afghanistan. To Patty's dad, Lieutenant Colonel retired Frank Dallas, thank you for being here. A veteran of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, Frank was a soldier for life long before we ever coined the term. Thanks for all you've given to our nation, and thanks for the example you and Joe set for your daughter and for all of us to follow. This past September, I had the privilege of participating in a bike race to honor wounded veterans and support their recovery. For 17 miles, I pedaled in the shadow of Private First Class Stefan Leroy, an Army infantryman who lost both legs in Afghanistan in 2012. Already a Warriors Game gold medalist on a hand bike, this was Stefan's first public ride on an upright bike. And if you follow the arc of Stefan's amazing story, you begin to understand the critical role Army Medical Command plays in the readiness and resilience of our soldiers, our veterans, our communities, and yes, our families. Wounded in a remote part of southern Afghanistan, Stefan was triaged by a battalion surgeon at a small forward operating base. He was medevaced to Bagram, where he was stabilized, and then flown to Landstuhl less than 36 hours after he incurred the wounds. Once at Walter Reed, Stefan underwent over 30 surgeries, and supported by countless doctors, nurses, physical therapists, and technicians, Stefan took his first steps on prosthetics legs less than 3 months after his injuries. Today, psychologists and counselors work to ensure Stefan's mind heals in concert with his body. And throughout this journey, Stefan Leroy benefited from a seamless chain of care stretching from forward operating base Sarkari Karez to hospitals in Europe and the United States, receiving state-of-the-art care at every step along the way. This is the power of Army medical medicine. The work of those gathered on this field and the thousands you represent changes lives. Stefan Leroy is only one of hundreds of thousands of lives transformed by the passion, creativity, and commitment of the soldiers, non-commissioned officers, and Army civilians that comprise the Army medicine team. That is why it is good for all of us to pause amidst our busy schedules to celebrate the work of Army Medical Command and the leadership of Lieutenant General Patty Horoho as she relinquishes command after 4 years of inspiring work. As an Army at war for the past 14 years, it is appropriate that much of the spotlight on Army medicine has focused on the brave work in Iraq and Afghanistan. But Army Medical Command is a diverse organization, leading across a wide array of initiatives, from conducting world-class medical research to operating medical and dental centers across 5 continents, to developing preventive medicine and public health initiatives that set the gold standard for the Department of Defense and our nation. Across all these efforts, Army medicine has the inherent trust of soldiers, leaders, Army civilians, and our families because of Army Medical Command's proven commitment to deliver world-class care in a high-pressure environment, serving an Army at war. Lieutenant General Patty Horoho has led this diverse organization for 4 years, delivering inspiring results. The Army talks a lot about Mission Command, which combines centralized intent with decentralized execution. Patty lives it. As the commander of Army Medical Command, General Horoho provided Mission Command for 8 medical centers, 14 community hospitals, 10 health centers, 107 primary care clinics, and 20 occupational health clinics spread across 18 time zones. She was responsible for a budget of more than $12 billion, and her team provided care for more than 1.8 million beneficiaries, including active duty members of all services, retirees, and our families. She was also the executive agent for 9 Department of Defense programs that include, just to name a couple, the Armed Forces Medical Examiner, Armed Forces Institute of Pathology, Armed Services Blood Program, and Department of Defense Medical Research for the prevention, mitigation, and treatment of blast injuries. Just a snapshot of the diverse enterprises Patty touches every day. What's most amazing about Patty is that she did this all with tremendous enthusiasm, vision, and compassion. Anyone who knows Patty will tell you that she has never met a stranger. She always asks the question, what more can we do? And is singularly focused on the welfare of our soldiers, Army civilians, veterans, and our families. She provided continuously inspiring leadership to Army Medical Command. Throughout her tenure, Patty drove cultural change to shift Army medicine from a disease-focused, reactive healthcare system to a proactive program focused on sustaining soldier health. She led the effort to make the Army Medical Department a high-reliability organization, enhancing the trust and confidence of our soldiers, retirees, and families. Her development and oversight of the Warrior Care and Transition Program resulted in a 45% return to duty rate for injured soldiers, a strategically critical effort in a time of decreasing end strength and increasing demands for Army forces. For those who know Patty well, the secret to her success is actually no secret at all. If you ask her, how did you do all this, she'll give you one answer: the performance triad. Plenty of sleep, physical exercise, and proper nutrition. I knew all you knew what that triad was, but I thought I'd refresh anyway. And while this seems like a simple idea, sometimes the simplest concepts are the most radical. Today, the performance triad Patty helped pioneer provides a foundation that enhances the readiness of our Army and enables soldiers and their families to thrive in the most demanding profession on earth. Now, Patty, I have a confession to make. I'm only hitting 2 of 3 of those triad targets on a consistent basis. Fortunately, as a baseball fan, those results would still win the American League East for the Red Sox. So I'll keep working on that sleep target. What Patty accomplished these past 4 years is indeed noteworthy. And we all know that her husband, Ray, was in full support of the soldiers and families of this command every step of the way. A career signal and logistics officer himself, Ray served over 27 years in uniform and also as an Army civilian. He became the first male president of the Officers' Wives Club of Greater Washington, D.C., and attended every AMED pre-command course, coaching, teaching, and mentoring the spouses of AMED commanders. Thank you, Ray, for your selfless service. You will be sorely missed by lots of spouses, my own amongst them. And I already saw you dialing up eBay to sell that signed Patriot shirt, but what Patty didn't tell you, it was signed by your #1 Patriots fan, Patty. So good luck with that high dollar mark you thought you were going to get. I know you and Patty just celebrated your 25th anniversary this past August. Congratulations, you are both a testament to what is truly best about the Army family. One of the strengths of our Army family is our deep bench of experienced leaders ready to sustain the command's momentum. And as Patty relinquishes command, we're blessed to have Major General Steve Jones, steady hand at the wheel. Steve is an accomplished combat leader who knows the mission well. I'm confident he'll deliver the decisive leadership to continue to guide Army Medical Command through this time of transition. And finally, to the entire Army Medical Command team, your efforts are fundamental to maintaining the readiness and resilience of our great Army force. So on behalf of a grateful Army and a grateful nation, thank you for what you do every day to make a difference. God bless you, and Army strong.
Lieutenant General Horoho and family, please join General Allen in front of the colors. General Allen will now present the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. With grateful recognition, the Corporation for National and Community Service and the Office of the President of the United States honors Lieutenant General Patricia D. Horoho with the President's Lifetime Achievement Award for her lifelong commitment to building a stronger nation through volunteer service. Signed, President Barack Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, the former commander of the United States Army Medical Command, Lieutenant General Patricia D. Horoho.
Thank you all for your participation in the ceremony today. Whether you're on the stage, in formation, or in the audience, your presence here honors and celebrates our United States Army Medical Command. General Allen, thank you for being here to officiate the ceremony and allow me to serve underneath your leadership. I've been honored to work with you and the entire Department of Army team Thank you very, very much. You and Debbie are an amazing couple, and Ray and I have enjoyed being teammates and neighbors of yours at Fort McNair. So thank you both for what you do for our Army. Sergeant Major of the Army Daly and Holly, thank you for your leadership and for leading the NCOs and the Enlisted Corps across our great Army. Dr. Woodson, thank you for your leadership with the military health system. General Perry and Annette, your support here at Fort Sam has been invaluable, and we have appreciated your partnership. Mr. Trey Clayberg, who represents our civilian assistant secretary, civilian aides to the Secretary of the Army, thank you very much for being here. And then I'm extremely honored to have Lieutenant General Becker, who's our 36th Army Surgeon General, and Lieutenant General Frank Ledford, our 37th Army Surgeon General. It has been an honor to be able to build upon the legacy that you both have done and made our medical command what it is today, so thank you. And then Maria Rocco, who is the spouse of Chief Rocco, one of our Medal of Honor recipients. It's always an honor to be in your presence, and thank you for what you continue to do to inspire and to carry on the legacy of your husband. A special welcome to our fellow international leaders and guests. It's humbling to have accepted this job 4 years ago, and it's humbling to relinquish it today. The men and women in formation today represent our remarkable command and are a credit to our nation. Let me start by thanking the 323rd Army Band, the AMED Center and School Honor Guard, Lieutenant Rosario, and the U.S. Army North Honor Battery. Your participation today reminds us of our history, and I am certain has us standing just a little bit taller and prouder because of your professionalism. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving them a huge round of applause. I note with great esteem the presence of command teams and the headquarters staff in formation. Army Medicine is blessed to have such exceptional commanders, senior enlisted advisors, and staffs. Thank you for your service and sacrifice, and most of all, for ensuring the readiness of the young men and women we send into harm's way in the name of democracy and freedom. To the students in formation, you represent the future of Army Medicine. We need your passion, your dedication, and your service. Thank you for your commitment to this nation, our Army, and Army Medicine. I'm honored by the presence of civilian and military leaders from the San Antonio area and across the nation. I thank our teammates from Sister Services and OSD. Today's national security environment demands that military health system performs traditional and new missions. With your collaboration, we have answered the call each and every time. And we sometimes do, and we do this with great sense and great pride. Sometimes we also save the very best for last. And I want to thank God for blessing me with a family and with friends that have enriched every aspect of my life. Any achievement attributed to me is a testament to my family and to my friends. To my mom, who is here today, I owe you so much. Her and my dad have been married for 68 years. Mom and Dad, thank you for being wonderful parents and instilling the values that you have in Nancy, Ed, and I. I'm very blessed to have a brother and a sister who have been there throughout my life, providing life guidance and unconditional love. Thank you very, very much. To my children, Maggie and John, thank you for your patience, your honesty, for the incredible joy that you bring to our family. Your dad and I are so proud of both of you. And Ray, I could not have been more blessed than a husband, a confidant, and a best friend. This has been a journey of a lifetime, and we did it as a team. Thank you for your selfless service to our Army, to the AMED, and to our family. I love you. Today, Army Medicine begins a new chapter. The Army entrusts General Jones to lead this command. I've known, I've admired, and I've respected Steve my entire career. Army Medicine is in good hands. Much has been said about having been the first female and the first nurse to command the Army Medical Command and serve as our Surgeon General, but personally, I have never felt these firsts as extraordinary. For me, these past 32 years have been about continuing the legacy of service that my dad began in 1943 as an American soldier. These past 4 years for me have been a continuation of the lessons I've learned as a soldier and about trusting the values instilled in me from the day I first took my oath of office. Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. The past 4 years were not about being the first of anything, but about only being the next soldier called up. My selection to be the Army Surgeon General was not a culminating point because I was the first woman, but simply a soldier's change of mission and my next rendezvous with destiny. This is a special day for both me and my family. We're blessed to turn this page with no regrets, no woulda, couldas, or shouldas. We enter onto the retired roles as proud of being part of our Army today as we were 30-plus years ago when we joined this great way of life. To me, that is truly a wonderful accomplishment. In this day and age when most people change jobs and companies many times before they reach 30 years of service within any profession, being enthusiastically a part of one team for more than 30 years is special. My recipe for success is guided by the institution we joined in order to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. As a commander, my philosophy has come from a French soldier and author named Andrew Malot. He wrote, "To command is to serve, nothing more and nothing less." It's been a privilege to serve you, the soldiers and the civilians of the Army Medical Command, a privilege to serve the leaders appointed over me, a privilege to serve with my peers, a privilege to serve every day in honor of those that came before me and those that had the confidence to entrust me with this great command, a privilege to serve and support the thousands of moms, dads, brothers and sisters, husbands and wives who have a soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine serving our great country. But most importantly, it's been a privilege to serve God and to answer His call as best I could throughout the journey of my life as a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, and a soldier. We've achieved great successes over these past 4 years, successes that has made our Army better and improved the lives of our soldiers and families. But really all we did was to serve, nothing more and nothing less. The recipe for our success is the same it's been for the last 239 years and will be for those who come after us for as long as God continues to bless this great Army. We're successful because we're American soldiers and Department of the Army civilians. We're warriors and members of a team. We live the Army values. We place the mission first. We never accept defeat. We never leave a fallen comrade behind. We're experts and we're professionals. We are American soldiers. Army medicine, you've been my motivation, my drive, and together we have served to heal and been honored to serve. May God continue to bless all of you. May God bless Army medicine, our sister services, the San Antonio community, and the United States of America, serving to heal and most honored to serve. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General of the United States Army Medical Command, Major General Steve Jones.
General and Mrs. Allen, Sergeant Major of the Army and Mrs. Daly, Dr. Woodson, General Horoho, Ray, Command Sergeant Major Ecker and Linda, General Wiggins, Annette, Mr. Trace Clayberg, General Ledford, General Becker. I saw Lieutenant General Retired Spears slip in there in the back, Ms. Rocco, fellow flag and general officers, commanders, command sergeant majors, distinguished guests and friends of Army medicine, good afternoon. General Allen, thank you for the honor of leading this outstanding organization and the extraordinary soldiers standing in front of you. I'll begin by recognizing those soldiers. You're the reason we live in the greatest nation on earth. Throughout history, our courageous men and women like you have stepped forward to serve our country, making tremendous sacrifices for our freedom and way of life. Thank you. I'd like to recognize the members of the San Antonio community. We owe you a tremendous debt for the support you provide our military. Outstanding Americans like you are the reason we fight for our country. Thanks also to the 323rd Army Band for your steadfast support. Unfortunately, the few days or weeks I'll have in this job will not be enough to get you restored to your rightful position as the MedCom Band. Colonel Wendy Harder is standing in for me out on the field today. Last week, before I learned I'd be standing here, I directed she place the sharpest 61 whiskey students in our formation. She suggested we include only soldiers over 5'11". Well, I guess with me up here, you got your wish. I asked the Command Sergeant Major how I should begin my remarks this afternoon. He said, give the command half-right face, front-leaning rest position, move. And that's why NCOs are the backbone of the Army. The 68 whiskey students in formation today will soon become our newest combat medics and will stand shoulder to shoulder with our warfighters on the battlefield. Our soldiers fight more effectively knowing our medics will care for them if wounded, and they take comfort knowing Army medicine is caring for their families back home. Combat medics are just one important part of the entire Army medicine team, a team that working together in our medical facilities, laboratories, schools, and yes, even in our headquarters, have made significant contributions to the nation. As a team, Army medicine raised the survival rate on the battlefield from 76% in Vietnam to over 92% today. That means during the last 14 years, over 8,000 service members who would have died in previous wars returned home to their families. The Army Medical Department must now shift from a singular focus on caring for the casualties of operations in Southwest Asia to a broader view that also looks to the future. As we continue to provide the same high level of care to the casualties of this conflict, we will transform to provide even more effective care for the next. Today we face new threats from a resurgent and aggressive Russia, the persistent evil of radical Islamic terrorism, Kim Jong-un's unstable regime in North Korea, and threats from natural causes like the recent Ebola crisis in Africa. Once more, we will take on these new threats as a team, and we will prevail. Commanders and Command Sergeants Major, it's an honor to serve with you. We'll begin with team building PT on this field at 05:30 tomorrow morning. Thanks, and Army Strong.
Please render appropriate honors to the national colors when they pass. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the United States Army Medical Command staff, led by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Colonel Clinton W. Schreckheis of San Antonio, Texas. The staff consists of the MEDCOM G1, Colonel Linda R. Carmen of Houston, Texas, the MEDCOM G3, Colonel Heather A. Kness of Troy, New York, the MEDCOM G4, Colonel Tony R. Nesbitt of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the MEDCOM G6, Colonel Beverly A. Beavers of Hot Springs, Arkansas. The bugler for today's ceremony is Sergeant First Class Luke Jefferson of Council Bluffs, Iowa. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the 323rd Army Band, led by Chief Warrant Officer 4, Thomas Hager. The drum major for today's ceremony is First Sergeant Eric Basora. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Headquarters and Headquarters Company, United States Army Medical Command, commanded by Captain Darrell Hopkins of Denton, North Carolina, and First Sergeant Lorena Delane of Rio Abajo, Republic of Panama. Standing in for First Sergeant Delane is Master Sergeant Alan Kitchen of Bangor, Maine. The Headquarters and Headquarters Company provides administrative and logistical support for soldiers and civilians assigned to the One Staff at Joint Base San Antonio and the National Capital Region. Ladies and gentlemen, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, United States Army Medical Command. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Regional Health Command Atlantic Provisional, commanded by Brigadier General Robert Tennant of Spring Lake, North Carolina, and Command Sergeant Major John Steed of Richmond, Virginia. Regional Health Command Atlantic Provisional is the nation's premier military system for health, focused on patients' wellness, dedicated to preventing illness and injury, and enabling ready and resilient soldiers, families, and communities. Ladies and gentlemen, Regional Health Command Atlantic Provisional. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Regional Health Command Central Provisional, commanded by Major General Barbara R. Holcomb of San Antonio, Texas, and Command Sergeant Major Jamie D. Johnson of Aurora, Missouri. The Central Command provides responsive, innovative, and reliable health services and influences health to improve readiness, save lives, and advance wellness in support of the force, military families, and all those entrusted to their care. Ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Health Command Central Provisional. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Regional Health Command Europe Provisional, commanded by Brigadier General Van Coots of Richmond, Virginia, and Command Sergeant Major Buck O'Neill of Lawrenceville, Florida. Today, Sergeant Major Lou Bruneau of Milwaukee, Oregon, is representing Command Sergeant Major O'Neill. The European Command provides world-class health care to all they are privileged to serve while remaining trained and ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Health Command Europe, Rocky, strong Europe, strong medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the passing of the national colors and render appropriate honors. The color guard is led by the MEDCOM Command Sergeant Major, Command Sergeant Major Gerald C. Ecker of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Regional Health Command Pacific Provisional, commanded by Brigadier General Patrick D. Sargent of Panama City, Florida, and Command Sergeant Major Robert C. Luciano of Beaufort, South Carolina. The Pacific Command provides patient-centered, outcomes-based health care and drives the transformation to a system for health for forces and families in the Pacific region. They educate, train, and provide a ready medical force to enhance health and save lives. Ladies and gentlemen, the Regional Health Command Pacific, Nakoa Imua, meaning warriors go forth. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the U.S. Army Medical Research and Materiel Command, commanded by Major General Brian Line of Bridgeport, Connecticut, and Command Sergeant Major David Rogers of Seattle, Washington. Today, Sergeant Major James Devine of Gunnison, Mississippi, is representing Command Sergeant Major Rogers. The Medical Research and Materiel Command is the United States Army's medical material developer, with responsibility for medical research, development, acquisition, and medical logistics management. MRMC's expertise in these critical areas helps establish and maintain the capabilities the Army needs to fight and win on the battlefield. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Army Medical Research and Materiel Command. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School, U.S. Army Health Readiness Center of Excellence. The U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School is commanded by Major General Steve Jones and is being led today by Colonel Wendy Harder of San Diego, California. The Command Sergeant Major is Command Sergeant Major Andrew Rhodes. The Army's Health Readiness Center of Excellence is located at Fort Sam Houston, Texas. The center is where the Army Medical Department formulates its medical organization, tactics, doctrine, and equipment. The school is where the Army educates and trains all of its medical personnel. Together, the center and school fulfills its mission and vision to envision, design, train, educate, and inspire a premier military medical force for decisive action in support of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Army Medical Department Center and School, U.S. Army Health Readiness Center of Excellence. Now approaching the reviewing stand is Western Regional Medical Command, commanded by Colonel Christopher A. Gruber, Jr. of Tacoma, Washington, and Command Sergeant Major Tabitha A. Gavia of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Today, Sergeant Major Gustavo Garola of Los Angeles is representing the Command Sergeant Major. Western Regional Medical Command delivers quality, trusted, and responsive health care. Ladies and gentlemen, Western Regional Medical Command. Now approaching the reviewing stand is the Warrior Transition Command, commanded by Colonel Chris R. Toner of Topeka, Kansas, and Command Sergeant Major Matthew T. Brady of Rapid City, South Dakota. The command's mission is to develop, coordinate, and integrate the Army's Warrior Care and Transition Program for wounded, ill, and injured soldiers, veterans, and their families or caregivers to promote success in the force or civilian life. Ladies and gentlemen, the Warrior Transition Command. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Charge of the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for your support and attendance. You are welcome at this time to come forward and join the receiving line at the front of the reviewing stand. You are also cordially invited to join the command for refreshments at the AMED Museum and to bid farewell to Lieutenant General Horoho and family. Refreshments are provided by the AMED Museum.